Okay, number 4. This is really target 6. And there's 2 ways to do the problem. So this video might be a little bit longer because I'm going to show both ways to do the problem. And so you can watch one or both. You do need to know the way to do it without graphing. You don't necessarily need to know the way to do it with graphing, though that's faster for a lot of students. But you do need to watch the second method, which will be the way to do it without graphing, because we'll ask you to do that on your test. I want to find a point that is 2/3 of the distance from A to B. Well, when we find distance, we found that distance is always made up of a vertical component and a horizontal component. So if I find the vertical component first, going from A to B, I'm going to the right 6 units. If I find the vertical component going from A to B, I'm going up 6 units. I want to take 2/3 of that distance. So I need to take 2/3 of both 6's. Well, 2/3 of 6 horizontally is going to be 4, and 2/3 of 6 vertically is still going to be 4. So that means if I want to go from A to B, I can go over 4 units and up 4 units. So over 4 and up 4. And my new point is going to be at 4, -2. It'll be 2/3 of the way from A to B. That's how to do it on a graph. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but do it with just the coordinates. So I wrote out the coordinates for 0, -6, and for 6, 0. And again, I want to find the horizontal distance. The horizontal distance goes with the x's. So I'm going to do b minus a, because I really want to focus this time on x2 minus x1. And we're always going to have the a to b, the end point, be the second point, and the starting point be the first point. So the horizontal distance is going to be 6 minus 0, which is 6. I then am going to take the 2/3 and say 2/3 of that 6 is equal to 4. So I need to change my horizontal distance by adding 4 to the x. That's what I'm going to do. For the vertical distance, I could do the same thing. The vertical distance has to do with the y values, or y2 minus y1. In this case, 0 minus -6. 0 minus -6 is 6. So then 2/3 of that 6 is equal to 4. And so I'm going to take my y value and add 4. So when I talk about taking my x value and adding 4 and my y value and adding 4, what that means is the original point A, which is at -6, 0. I'm going to take that point, those integers, -6, 0, and because of this x plus 4, I'm going to add 4 to the x. And because of the y plus 4, I'm going to add 4 to the y. And so my point that is 2/3 of the distance is going to be -6 plus 4 and 0 plus 4, or -2, 4. Now I immediately checked that with the graph that I did, and I realized I did make a mistake. When I wrote down A as -6, 0 on the bottom, I actually made that wrong, because A, we said, was 0, -6. So I made that mistake. So I'm just going to erase this part and fix that. So A, we said, was 0, -6. We're going to add 4 to the x and add 4 to the y. And so the point that I want, that's going to be 2/3 of the way, is going to be at 4, -2.